Persistent worrying is like a demon whispering in your ear. What it's saying isn't good for you. Worry scrambles your thoughts and warps tiny problems into looming disasters. And those intrusive thoughts won't stop unless you do something. You can do better than just trying to cope with stress and anxiety. The problem should be pulverized so it won't bother you anymore. Taoist wisdom shows how. First, you need to see worry for what it really is, a trap. It convinces you that overthinking helps, that tension means control. That's a lie. The truth is, the more you fight, the tighter its grip. There's another way. A way to stop struggling, break free, and move through life untouched. It starts with understanding why you worry, then flipping the script completely. That's what we're doing right now. What if you could let go and banish that demon for good? Imagine achieving a state of inner peace where worry doesn't control you, where calm isn't something you chase. It's just there. Minor problems wash over you, and you have perfect clarity about where to focus your energy. Taoist sages teach that a life without constant worry isn't just possible, it's natural. Some people reach this state the hard way, by enduring so much pain and loss that they stop caring about small things. But there's another path. Taoism offers a way to let go before life forces you to. You can stop worry from taking over in the first place. Taoism guides us to live in harmony with the flow of life, what they call the Tao. There's no need to force things to happen or constantly try to control outcomes. You can let go of resistance, trust the natural order, and realize that life unfolds exactly as it should. Think about it. How often do we worry about things that never happen, or stress over problems that resolve themselves in unexpected ways? Taoist wisdom shows us that by releasing our tight grip, we make room for life to move effortlessly. When we stop fighting the current, we find ourselves floating downstream, moving with life instead of against it. Let's explore base Taoism, not just a philosophy, but what actually works in practice. Taoism teaches us to let go, but this isn't about passive detachment or sitting back while life happens. It's about applying those principles in the real world, where things get messy. Sometimes, that means running small experiments that affect how others respond to you. It's not just about finding peace. It's about seeing what happens when you stop trying to control everything. There's a bit of a Machiavellian edge to this. Letting go isn't always about being soft. It can shift power dynamics, help you move through life with less resistance, and even change how people treat you. I hope you'll start to feel more relaxed and untroubled as we unveil this grounded, practical approach. By the end, you should feel a stronger ability to let go of the thoughts that only hold you back, and gain more control over the things that actually matter. We've all felt it. That quiet tug in the back of your mind, replaying the same conversation, wondering if you said too much, or not enough. You find yourself drifting into thoughts about tomorrow. Will everything be ready? Will something slip through the cracks? Your heart beats a little faster. Your thoughts swirl, and suddenly even small obstacles feel like they're standing in your way. Worry has a way of creeping in softly, convincing us that it's helpful. It whispers that by thinking through every detail, we're protecting ourselves, preparing for what might go wrong. But pause for a moment. How often has worrying really changed what happened? Did turning that meeting over in your mind make it any smoother? Did imagining every possible setback stop life from unfolding as it always does? The truth is, worry doesn't guide us forward. It keeps us circling the same thoughts, pulling us out of the present and into a future that hasn't yet arrived. And most of the time, those fears never come to pass. And when they do, they're rarely as overwhelming as we expected. But even if worry doesn't shape the future, it certainly shapes the present. It quietly saps your energy, clouds your thoughts, and weighs on your spirit. Sometimes, it even settles into your body, a tightness in your shoulders, restless nights, a heaviness you can't quite name. all because your mind is caught up in struggles that don't exist in this moment. And here's where the deeper challenge lies. Worry doesn't just distract you, it keeps you from living fully. Taoist philosophy teaches that life flows naturally, like a gentle river. But worry feels like paddling upstream, straining against the current. The harder you resist, the more worn down you become. And while you're bracing for what might happen, you miss the quiet beauty of what is happening right now. To the Taoists, this resistance isn't just tiring. It blocks you from experiencing life as it's meant to be lived. Worry creates distance between you and the effortless rhythm of the world. It builds walls where there could be openness. It replaces ease with tension. So, the question isn't just how to stop worrying. It's deeper than that. Why do we cling to it, even when it holds us back? And what might unfold if we simply learn to let go? Effortless action. It might only take a moment to free yourself from worries. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. These words come from Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese philosopher credited with writing the Tao Te Ching. At first glance, it sounds simple, but there's a powerful truth behind it. We spend so much of our lives trying to hold on to who we think we're supposed to be. But when we let go of those expectations, we open ourselves to possibilities we never imagined. In Taoism, there's a concept called Wu Wei, meaning effortless action. But it's not about doing nothing. It's about knowing when to act and when to let go, when to step forward and when to trust that life will unfold in its own time. Sometimes it only takes a small shift, a simple decision, to let go of the weight we carry. I've seen this in my own life. There was a time when I might try to win people over, being friendly, maybe even a little too accommodating, especially if I felt they didn't like me. I'd give ground, thinking it would smooth things over. But over time, I learned not to care, and that shift was liberating. Not everyone is going to like you, and that is absolutely fine. When the need for approval fades, it frees up your energy. You get things done more quickly because there's no constant second-guessing. You become more open to helpful feedback, the kind that actually makes you better, because you're no longer defensive or trying to protect your image. And most importantly, toxic interactions get cut out of your life. No more wasted mental energy in that whole area. Letting go clears space in every part of life. It quiets the overthinking, the pressure to be perfect, the constant need to predict what's next. It helps create room for clarity, focus, and calm. When you stop trying to control everything, whether it's how situations unfold or the future looks, you free yourself to fully experience the present, and life starts to flow in a way that feels natural, effortless, and free. Bold experiments with Wu Wei. Sometimes, the fastest way to stop worrying isn't by easing into it. It's by making bold, deliberate changes. A lot of advice tells you to take small, gradual steps toward letting go. But I've found the opposite to be true. The most effective way to embrace Wu Wei, effortless action, is to test it out in real time. Not by theorizing, not by easing into it, but by jumping in and seeing what happens. Even Tony Robbins says, "Your life can change in a moment." And he's right. You don't need months of slow adjustments to start letting go. You just need to test what happens when you stop interfering. It's similar to the idea in The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F*** by Mark Manson. The point isn't to stop caring about everything, but to care less about the things that don't really matter. When you stop putting energy into trying to control every situation, you realize how little actually needs your attention. The key is knowing what's worth caring about and letting go of the rest. Let me give you a few bold experiments I've tried that showed me how little control I actually needed. My 2-year-old daughter used to sprint toward water every time she saw it. My instinct was always to intercept her immediately, stop her from getting too close. But one day, I held back. She ran straight in and started to drown, but I was ready. I pulled her out immediately. And guess what? She never did it again. That one moment taught her more than all my past interventions combined. It also taught me something. Letting go isn't reckless if you're prepared for the outcome. Sometimes people, kids included, need a real experience to learn. I used to tidy up before the cleaners came. I'd stress over where things should go, assuming they wouldn't know what to do with the mess, or that they'd leave things out of place. But one day, I didn't touch a thing. I just left it all. And what happened? After a couple of cleans, it became obvious which things needed to be put away and which they handled just fine. All that extra effort I had been putting in, completely unnecessary. Letting go of that habit didn't create chaos. It saved me time. Packing for trips used to stress me out. I'd plan for every possible scenario. Extra shoes, backup clothes, things I might need. But eventually, I realized, if I ever truly needed something, I could just buy it. So, I stopped overthinking. I started packing light, just the essentials. Now, I can pack in minutes with a single bag. Letting go of the what-ifs freed me from unnecessary stress. Here's something to try. For the next 24 hours, pause before you take control of anything. Every time you feel the urge to step in, whether it's fixing something, correcting someone, or stressing about what might happen, stop. Ask yourself, is this absolutely necessary? If not, do nothing. Or take a more hands-off approach. Skip the knee-jerk reaction. Think of what a Taoist monk would do. You'll be surprised at how much unfolds naturally when you give life the space to move on its own. The less you interfere, the more you realize that life doesn't need constant intervention. And the moment you realize that, everything starts to feel easier.